Last lesson covered the three pieces of a PPP framework: policy, law, institutions. This lesson is about the institutions in practice, who actually does what, who signs off at each stage, and who's responsible for making sure a PPP program doesn't quietly become a fiscal problem. Three actors show up in almost every PPP program: the contracting authority, usually the line ministry or agency that owns the project and will sign the contract; the PPP unit, providing technical review and quality control, as covered last lesson; and the Ministry of Finance, whose job is specifically fiscal, making sure the government understands what it's actually committing to pay and when. Instead of one single approval, most frameworks build in gates at several stages. After initial screening, after the feasibility and value for money work, before the tender is launched, and before the final contract is signed. Each gate is a checkpoint, a chance to stop a weak project before more time and money go into it, not just a formality at the end. Here's the myth this lesson needs to correct early. A PPP is not automatically off the government's balance sheet just because a private partner is financing construction. The government usually still carries risk: a payment guarantee, a demand guarantee, a termination liability if the contract ends early. Those are contingent liabilities. They don't show up as debt today, but they can become very real bills tomorrow. Fiscal oversight, usually the Ministry of Finance's job, tracks three things: direct liabilities, payments the government has firmly committed to, like availability payments; contingent liabilities, payments that only happen if a specific risk materializes, like a demand shortfall guarantee; and aggregate exposure, not just one project in isolation, but what the government is on the hook for across its entire PPP program at once. One PPP with a demand guarantee is a manageable, bounded risk. 10 PPPs with the same kind of guarantee across the same economy can all go wrong in the same bad year. A recession hits toll roads and airports and ports at the same time. That's why fiscal oversight looks at the whole PPP program together, not project by project in isolation. Quick recap: three core actors: the contracting authority, the PPP unit, and the Ministry of Finance. Approval happens at multiple gates across the project cycle, not just once. And fiscal oversight tracks direct liabilities, contingent liabilities, and aggregate exposure across the whole program, because a PPP's cost to government doesn't disappear just because it's off next year's budget line. Chapter 3 is next: how projects actually get identified and screened in the first place. That's Chapter 2. Subscribe to follow the rest of the course.